It is not sending the children to the most expensive schools that you can ever send, like go and put yourself in debt because you say you want to give the best. Sending your child to school is not a gift, it's your responsibility as a parent. Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys the best gift that my parents have ever given me. And also, I'm going to tell you guys the best gift that you can ever give to your child as a parent. So watch this video to the end and I bet you won't be disappointed. So without further ado, let's just jump into the video. So while I was growing up, my parents have given me a lot of gifts. And recently I was telling one of my friends that it's a privilege, like it is not the right but a privilege that my parents have sent me to school this far. If I'm like boast to say like maybe I've gone far in school in terms of when it studies is thanks to my parents. So when I was saying this and somebody told me that your parents are normally your parents are supposed to send you to school now, so it's their right, it's not something to be saying that it's a privilege. So I was like, but there are people who's there are people who are not able to send their children to school, but I'm privileged to have parents who were able at least to send me to school. At least I was able to be among the average students who went to school. So it's just a way of saying that like at least I was privileged, but that is not the gift that I'm talking about. Because normally we as children, we are not the ones that ask our parents to bring us into this world. So when you're giving birth to a child, you are supposed to have in your mind that you're bringing a soul in this world, you're bringing a human being in this world, and you're supposed to take off the human being. If not, don't give birth. So in as much as parents take care of their children, I think it's their responsibility for them to take care of their children. So but as a child, you are always supposed to be grateful, because there are some parents who don't even have those means to take care of their kids, of their children. So we as children were always grateful. So back then when my father gave birth to me, my father was not married. Like my father was just living his life with my mother. I've given the story here. So my grandmother at that time, my paternal grandmother, she was a deaconess in the church. So she was taking us to church, like taking us to Sunday school. You know how when we're small, how we used to grow up. So it was really in the fear of God. So, and I thank God for that. After that, I left. After my grandmother died, I went to live with somebody else. And from there, I left again and lived like I've lived with so many people. So when I was maybe about going to the secondary school, like I was at around 11, 12 years old, my father took me and went and left me with my uncle, who is a pastor. So that is where I was brought up. Like before I even got to the puberty stage, I was already living with my uncle. And that is a gift that I want to talk about, which is no other thing but Christ. Like the best gift that a parent can ever give to his or her child is Christ, like salvation, Jesus Christ. Because I was brought up in the fear of God. Like my parents have sent me to school, my parents have bought me things, my parents have done a lot of things for me. But this particular gift which they gave to me at that tender age, at a younger age, was Christ, which till today I am grateful. And if I'm where I am today, is because of this particular gift that my parents gave me. A lot of parents think that in order for you to please your child, or in order for you to make your child to be happy or to be fine tomorrow, you need to give everything that the child asks, maybe material things like clothes, phones. Nowadays you have Android children. Like a child is already is still in primary school, he or she is already having an iPhone. But that is not the best gift that you can ever give to your child. In fact, those things even at that tender age can instantly to destroy that child. So, but what my father did was that he took me and allowed me to live with my uncle. And my uncle, being a pastor or being someone who is rooted in Christ with their wife, they brought me up in the fear of God. Like I was their first child at that moment. And till today, guys, like it's true that when we go, or when we are growing up as children and we have those discipline, we have those like maybe our parents are talking to us, our parents are giving us those advice, they preach the word of God, they try to bring us closer to Christ, and we are looking at it that wasting our times. It's when you grow up, like get to a certain level, like now I'm matured, I'm married, and I already have kids, and I'm just reflecting, like hadn't been, I was not brought up that way, maybe I wouldn't have been where I am today. I was coming from a village, Banga Bakundu, for those who know it, like in the southwest region. That village, I used to tell my husband that if there's a village that they practice Sodom and Gomorrah, like this issue of immorality, That is one of the villages. Like, I can, hey God, what did I not see there? Like, there was a lot. If I used to go for holidays to my mother because my mother was living there, and I would see things like, if not the father, I was rooted, like I was brought up in the fear of God, guys, I would have compromised. I have my cousins that are living there in the village. I have kids, like at a tender age, started bearing bringing kids in this world unwantedly. And as a parent, if you yourself you are not born again, or if you as yourself you don't know Christ, how will you be able to give it to your child when you yourself you don't know Christ? We have a lot of parents now that are like doing a lot of things which are not right before their kids. Maybe they smoke, they live the life of immorality, adultery, they query, they fight in front of your kids. Which lesson are you teaching to your children? So if you're a parent and you're watching this video and you know very well that you yourself you are not living right with Christ, this is the time for you to make things right with him, so that you can be able to impact your children, you can be able to teach your children. Because I had somebody that was telling me that my parents cannot even try to advise me. What would they advise me? When they get up every morning and they are fighting, they get up every morning, they are quarreling, and their life is not even good. My father will go out and look for girls, my mother will go out and look for men. Like, what are they going to, which education are they going to give? She was like, where she is today, it is by God's grace that she is where she is today. Like, it is not by the parents' effort. It is not like the parents contributed something positive in her life. Instead, she was like, if she had copy what the parents were doing, she wouldn't have been where she is today. It's just to tell us that as parents, we need to live right with Christ. Like, you need to embrace Christ. And the problem is that a lot of us have heard about Christ. Like, we have had people who have come and preached the gospel to us, but we are just like, get out, get out. Like, we have had it, but we just ignore. But you don't that it's for your own good. Because once you as a parent, you know Christ, you are able to communicate Christ to your kids. It's not taking them to church every day and coming to live the contrary of what they preach in church. So, since my parents brought me up in the fear of God, my uncle brought me up in the fear of God, I was able like to try by God's grace. Because it's true that you can still bring your child in the fear of God, and at the end of the day, the child goes wayward. Because you have Satan does not like when things are going on well, so he will always want to fight. That is why after while you are preaching to the child and bringing the child in the fear of God, you as a parent, you have a role to be praying for that child. Do your part and leave the rest for God. Preach to the child, and while you're preaching, always put your knees down, especially mothers. Mothers know how to do these things. Always put your knees down and pray for the children. Pray for them, because the devil is not happy you preaching them the gospel. The devil is not happy you bringing them up right in the fear of God. My father would advise me, he will leave the world and come and visit me at my uncle's place in Tiko. Before going, he would give me all the advice that a father can give to the child. It's true that my father was very strict, but at a certain point, he used to give some advice that is, in the long run, that I was like, wow, this man really impacted my life so positively. I have given a story here how my father would like touch his a private part and will say, you see this thing, my daughter, it is very sweet. But the day that you will taste it, it will be like in the days of Adam and Eve who ate the forbidden fruit until today we are suffering the consequences. Imagine your father telling you that kind of thing. Will you try? That's why when I went to the university and each time I want to like compromise, I'll think of that my father's statement. Like, I'll even think of the act, him touching his part and telling me that you see this thing like this. Like, it will ring a bell in my ears. And I was like, no, I don't have to do this thing. Because, and each time I am going back to school, like the university, when I was no more living in the house, I just go to the house during holidays. My father always make a statement that, my daughter, I am counting on you, don't disappoint me. Ha, God. Imagine you as a parent tell your child like that, and your child is conscious, your child already know Christ. It will help the child to be able to walk according to the ways that are right, or it will help the child to be able to address him or her steps. So as a parent, try as much as possible to invest on your children. Give them the best gift, which is salvation. Preach them, preach the gospel. Don't close your mouth. Don't say, no, the pastor is preaching, you don't need to preach. Do your part as a parent. I am telling you, I'm a living testimony. In this channel, I always talk about my life. Like, I always give positive, even if it's not good, like something that will bring out a lesson that will be able to help or bless it. So I always give it, especially the positive testimonies. Until today, I am able to like to preach to my siblings. I know that a lot of people were thinking that, oh, I'm going to say my father has given me a house, a car, an iPhone. No, 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 no. Those things are extra things that can come, but I cannot quantify it or qualify it as the best gift ever. No, my best gift ever that my parents have ever given me is salvation, is Christ. And till today, I am grateful for it because a lot of children grow up and they are being abused by their parents. I've never known of abuse because I grew up in the fear of God, and I grew up in with people who fear God. And if you're a child and your parents have made mistake, like they did not give you this salvation that I'm talking about, and you are hearing my voice, you have been watching my videos, and you have heard about Christ, it is time for you to give your life to Christ. Don't be saying that, no, my parents must be the one to preach Christ to me. No. If you have heard about Christ, it is not by chance, it is for a reason, like God has permitted it to be that way. So embrace Christ and instead help to change your family. Like through you, may your parents give their life to Christ. Through you, may your parents change. May your parents accept Christ. Because some parents are ignorant. They do it out of ignorance, not that they are wicked. So I hope this message bless you. I hope you have learned something from it. And I pray that God give you grace to be able to understand it and put it in practice. So I'm just going to end this video here. If you have not please like. If you are not share so that people can be able to watch. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe and support your girl. We are on the journey to reach 1,000 subscribers to fully monetize this channel. So see you in my next video. Love you, bye bye, and take care. Mwah, mwah, mwah.